Hey everyone. I think we're live. I think I'm live. How's everyone doing? Let me see. I am going to connect on Facebook on my phone just so that I can take questions today. So let's have a look here. I hope it's sunny where you are. It's sunny here, which is awesome. Hey everyone. There we go. Yeah, so if anyone has questions as we go along, then please put them in the comment section. So I am by myself today. I will just get started. For those of you who don't know me, because I'm going live from my personal page today, not from my business page. For those who don't know me, my name is Janice Amiro. I am the founder of Janice Inspiring Change Holistic Nutrition. I'm on a mission to eradicate sugar addiction, and I help women lose weight, look amazing, and live well by breaking up with sugar. I'm going to just talk a little bit about why I'm doing what I do, and then we'll get into today's topic, which is clean eating. Years ago, I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, and I was told by a specialist in Nova Scotia, basically the last resort, the last person I could talk to way back when. I was told that I was lazy and just needed to exercise. So I knew that that wasn't true, and I fought my way back to health. I took matters in my own hands and started my journey back to health. While I was going through my health journey, both of my parents died of cancer. And that's when it really became clear to me that we have a choice in our health, that our overall health dictates what's going to happen to us. And I took it upon myself to learn more. As I was going through my own health journey, I started to learn more and more. And what I discovered was that today's illnesses and diseases are very common, but they are not normal. It's not normal for the body to work this way. It's common. We hear about these illnesses and diseases. We suffer from them ourselves. Everybody has something, but it's not normal. The body just isn't designed to function like this. So the reason that I'm doing these lives on Thursdays weekly is because back in December of 2020, I thought that there was a need to help people explore what they can do for themselves to help them feel better. So I decided to interview health practitioners from various modalities to see if they want to come and talk about what they offer, and that would bring to you, my audience, more opportunities for better health. Maybe some of you have taken it upon yourselves to contact the people I've interviewed and get some help from them. And I hope so. I know a few people have. I've spoken to them, and they have found their way and what works for them, and they're feeling so much better. So like I said, today my guest is me. I am going solo today because I want to talk about clean eating. And let me just make sure that I can see you on Facebook. Yeah, good. Because on Zoom, I'm on Zoom, but I can't see comments. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask them. I'm hoping to just make this about 20 minutes today, but I do like to talk and depending on the questions, but I'll go through this fairly basic information, and I have a fuzzy on my face. So I think it's gone. So I want to talk about clean eating. I was talking to one of my clients about this for the last 2 or 3 sessions, and as you know, I have a 12-week Sugar Freedom Now program, and this particular client is very concerned about clean eating. So we've been talking a lot about this, and so I thought that today would be a perfect day to explore exactly what that means, because some people don't really know what clean eating means. And there's a doctor named Joel Furman, and he talks about eating a nutritarian diet. And to me, that's a clean eating type of diet. And what that does is it allows us to, it helps us prevent cancer, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, whatever it is that we have, all these common ailments today. And the other thing that it helps, and all the women and men will really like this, it slows down the progression of aging, and it helps us live longer. So clean eating is exactly this. It's a way of eating, and really it's an awareness of what is in our food, on our food, how it's grown, and how we can make better choices. So I'm going to use a few notes here that I have from a presentation I did in Yarmouth a few years ago when I did a clean eating talk. And there was a lot of people there. It was great. I did it at the Yarmouth Museum, which is a really nice place. So why would we want to eat cleaner? And I mentioned that we can potentially prevent ourselves from getting these ailments that are so common nowadays. But what we'll notice while we're changing our diet and eating cleaner, because I really think, you know, some of you might be saying, well, you can't eat clean 100%. And I agree, because our air has toxins in it. Our soil has toxins in it. Our food is compromised. Even our thoughts and our emotions affect how our food is digested and assimilated. So it's true, it's very, very difficult, impossible to eat 100% clean unless you live in one of the blue zones, and maybe then you can eat, you know, very close to 100% clean. But yeah, Google the blue zones, amazing, amazing introduction to clean eating. So things that you'll see when you start eating cleaner is you'll have more energy. You will crave sugar a lot less. That is for sure. You'll crave bread a lot less. Your outlook will be more positive. You'll have fewer colds and flus. Your immune system will be stronger. And that's a real big concern right now for people. You'll sleep better. And if you don't sleep well, your body doesn't get a chance to rejuvenate itself. So sleep is really key. Your joints will ache less. A lot of people have joint pain, back pain, wrist pain. That will be diminished. You'll have fewer headaches, which means you'll take less pain medication. If you suffer with PMS, you'll notice a huge shift in your mood and in bloating and in breast tenderness and cramping. So that's a great reason to start eating cleaner. And you'll lose weight. You'll have better focus. The brain fog will go away. You'll be more relaxed, less heartburn. Your skin will clear up. These are all things that you can notice once you start eating cleaner. So I want to talk a little bit about today's food and how compromised it is. And a lot of people say, you know, we talk about sugar a lot in my world, and people say, well, sugar is everywhere and chemicals are everywhere. And it's really important to read labels. And more, even better than that, is to buy food that doesn't have a label on it. But even that, you have to be very, very careful what you're doing. And I'll explain that a little bit. So today's food, you know, the fries, the burgers, the soft drinks, the cookies, the cake, the candy, it's all loaded with toxins. And those are foods that we eat all the time. So one of the big things that causes problems in the body is the dyes that are used in food. And, you know, it's not necessarily the bright blue frosting or the red velvet frosting. It's dyes that are in cereal and in butter and in pretty much anything you buy in a crinkly bag. You know, sometimes, and I'm a big fan of Doritos, I was years ago, and when you eat Doritos, your fingers go orange. So that's not a natural substance on there. That is the dye that they've added, along with the MSG and all the other chemicals. So I want to just quickly go through the coloring agents and what they are known to cause. So the blue dyes may be found in cake, candies, those energy drinks that we have. They cause kidney tumors. They cause brain tumors. They have been known to contribute to cancer. The green, they may be found in candies, again, frosting, even in pills, and any type of place where you might see like a jelly bean, there's a green dye. So they are known to cause bladder tumors and prostate issues, and that's in lab rats. And so, you know, those are the studies that are being done. Red, actually, a lot of red dyes have been banned in some places because it causes thyroid tumors. And we find that a lot, of course, in our dressings, in our frostings, in the cherries that are in the jar, you know, those maraschino cherries in the jar. It's total red dye. Jelly beans, anything that is has some red in it. And that causes, like I said, tumors in the body. And we also will see that dye in makeup because we have the red, pinks, and purple lipsticks. So there's some red dye in that as well. Dyes, as you probably know, have been known to contribute to hyperactivity in children. And, you know, I don't think it's funny at all when we see little Johnny running around and parents saying, oh, he's just had too much sugar, he'll be fine. You know, the brain health alone is suffering with a child when they are having that sugar hit. It's not just the sugar, it's the dyes as well. So there are some really great makeup companies out there that use natural colorings, and that's what I've been using for years. Yellow also causes hyperactivity. We see that in orange juice. We see that in cereals. I can think of a few cereals that are yellow, supposed to look like corn kind of color. It's not natural color. Frostings, sauces, those are all dyed. And even sausages have food coloring in them. We see that a lot. Jell-O, if anyone's still eating Jell-O, the same thing. Yellow causes adrenal fatigue, hypersensitivity. The list goes on and on. I do want to talk a little bit about farm fish because fish in general is very compromised because our waters are compromised, but farmed fish get fed a feed that is full of PCBs, drugs, and chemicals. They the mice that were fed farmed salmon developed obesity and diabetes 5 times more than the mice that weren't. So that's pretty scary. All of the farm fish is grown with pesticides and antibiotics or some type of medication. And there's dyes added to them to make them the color that they are. So that is some food for thought. Coffee, one of the most heavily sprayed crops on the planet. Tea, the same thing. So if you're looking to reduce your toxic load and eat cleaner, I recommend organic coffee and tea. because there are so many chemicals. A lot of people don't react bad with the organic. Like if you drink organic coffee and then you don't for a while, you know how you can get a headache when you're coming off coffee. It can be a lot less severe if you're drinking organic. So be mindful of, you know, the next bag of coffee you buy or box of tea, buy organic. The regular coffee is steeped in synthetic fertilizers, pesticides, you name it, it's in there. And the organic isn't grown with those things. Organic fertilizers are used, and they're natural, like manure, coffee pulp, and compost. There's always a question about oil, and vegetable oils are loaded with toxins. So anyone who wants to eat clean, it's a great idea to shift away from oils. And contrary to popular belief, and I know marketing has done a great job of making us think we need oil, but we don't need oil. We need healthy fats. And there's a huge difference between a bottle of oil and an avocado or some raw nuts. So all of those vegetable oils, I have a list here. They are like the canola. The canola is completely a man-made substance. Soybean, peanut, safflower, sunflower, cottonseed, grapeseed, margarine shortening, butter substitutes. Those are all highly toxic substances. They contain BHA, which is, well, Google it. It's a toxin that is generally regarded as safe by the Food and Drug Association or the National Institute of Health, but is known as a carcinogen. So that's a cancer-causing agent. All of these oils are grown, they're generally genetically modified. So they don't start off healthy at all. They're processed with a really, really high heat. So that creates oxidation, which makes them rancid. I remember reading a report that said that the result of the processing, the heating of them, makes them smell so bad that they have to add deodorizers in them to make them edible, because we wouldn't even think about putting it to our mouth if we smelled it the way it comes out. They add dyes for color in there, and like I said, the deodorizing agents to make them smell, well, like nothing, basically, or have a more pleasant odor. The oils that we eat every day, these vegetable oils, are linked to cancer, heart disease, osteoporosis, endometriosis, PCOS. The list goes on and on and on. One place that I want to mention where we'll see a very highly toxic oil, and we tend to eat this, I see this a lot, is, and we think it's a healthy treat, is microwave popcorn. The butter in microwave popcorn is probably one of the worst toxins. And the popcorn itself is not so bad if it's not genetically modified, but that chemical that is added to it is loaded with MSG and other chemicals. It's been shown to develop tumors in animals. It increases the risk of prostate cancer. It's unbelievable. It even increases the risk of health in the factories where it's made. So that's a scary thought. I hope that you'll have a look in your cupboard after. Talking about treats, beverages, sodas, sports drinks, those kind of things, loaded with food coloring, as you can imagine, because you can see the color on them, blue or yellow or whatever color they are, loaded with high fructose corn syrup, sugars, dyes, the list goes on and on. Other place that you'll have that you might want to consider changing if you want to go a little bit cleaner in your diet is getting rid of the artificial sweeteners. They are chemicals, including stevia. Stevia still, all of those may be derived from natural ingredients, but once they are processed, they are no more natural. So someone was asking me the other day about stevia, and if you can get a stevia plant and take a little piece of the leaf and add that as a sweetener, that's a completely different thing. So have a look at the artificial sweeteners in your house and where they are added to sauces, dressings, any type of things in cans. Just, you really do have to read the labels and know what those words mean. The artificial sweeteners actually slow down the metabolism. They have been contributed to cancer and other types of bladder cancer and other types of cancers, headaches, migraines, depression, digestive trouble, even seizures. So I've always said, and I've heard a lot of doctors say this, you know, if you're going to have a little bit of sugar, you're safer to have real sugar, as scary as that is, rather than the artificial sugar. If you're not sure what MSG is, another thing to Google, it's a flavor enhancer and it's known to cause headaches, seizures, nausea, tightness in the chest. We will see this a lot in processed food, and one place that we know that it is in Chinese food, and a lot of people just can't eat it because it is just full of MSG. There's other names for substances that are similar to MSG, and I would also advise you to Google that, because you might see terms called like hydrolyzed soy protein or autolyzed yeast. Those are no better than MSG. They sound a little bit nicer, but they're not. They're made to sound a bit nicer so that we're not afraid of them. But when you're looking at labels, it's really important to read the labels and see, because if we're trying to eat cleaner, we have to take it upon ourselves to not trust what someone is telling us. We have to look at what those ingredients are, and then, you know, take a picture. I find myself doing this all the time. Take a picture of the label. Don't buy the product. Take a picture, and then go home and find out exactly what those products are, and you may change your mind about that food. You know, some people might say, well, if I can't eat all this, what else can I eat? And of course, natural food, clean food, local, organic, that's your best bet. If you're eating meat, then find a local meat butcher or meat producer, a local farm in your area. If you're eating eggs, do the same thing. Chicken, the same, because at least you'll be getting fewer toxins. And that's the way it is about clean eating, is just being aware and then gradually changing what you're buying to take out as many of those toxins as you can. If you've ever heard, and this is a good tool that you can search, it's called the Dirty Dozen Clean 15. And that's a list that you can find on the internet. And it lists the 12 foods that are considered the ones with the most pesticides on them, and then the 15 that are considered clean, and you don't really have to worry so much about the pesticides, or there's lower pesticides on them. So the Dirty Dozen would have food like strawberries, spinach. That's why it's so important to buy local strawberries and no sprayed. We just bought a whole bunch of local blueberries that are no spray. Apples, you can find some organic apples, because they're mostly all sprayed. Even here in the valley, they're all sprayed. Peaches, pears, tomatoes, potatoes, and just reading this list here, bell peppers, those are the part of the Dirty Dozen. So if you eat a lot of those, then source out some cleaner options. The Clean 15 is onions, avocado, pineapple, cabbage, sweet peas, frozen, asparagus, eggplant, melons, cantaloupe, cauliflower, grapefruit. The list is updated on a regular basis. So have a look and see what, if there's something you eat that's on the clean 15, that's great. But on the dirty dozen, have a look and see what you can do there. So one way that you can improve or reduce your toxic load is to cook more at home. Of course, the more store-bought restaurant food you eat, the more toxins you're going to have. So one of the ways to increase your cooking at home, or to make your cooking at home taste better and have less toxins, is to make your own salad dressings and sauces. And it's not complicated. There's tons of great recipes out there. I have some on my website. If you want to go to JaniceInspiringChange.com, I have over 40 recipes there of healthy recipes that would have some great flavors in them, and it's things that you can make yourself. And once you source out great ingredients, then you'll have some really nice tasting food. I would always choose fresh over bottled or packaged or canned. So don't forget too that frozen food is not a bad choice if you can't get fresh, but always choose fresh if you can, and then frozen is the next. And if you're buying carrots, let's say, buy a bag of carrots, organic carrots, rather than buying the those little carrot things that have already been cleaned up and ready to eat. There's lots of chemicals on those ones. So buy some real carrots and cut them up yourself. It's so easy and it's not that time consuming. Avoid sweetened and colored drinks because they're loaded with chemicals. So if you like kind of a spritzer type of or refreshing drink, buy plain seltzer water or Perrier type of water and add some lemon to it, or some fresh strawberries or some cucumber or mint, and make a drink, because you'll be reducing your toxic load by doing that. Buy natural seasonings, organic herbs and spices, or fresh herbs and spices. Find out where all of those products are coming from and do your best to push out the more toxic and bring in the less toxic. You know, it's all about making good choices. It's every day, and as the more you learn, the more you can make a shift, and it happens gradually. What I've done over the years, and I'm still doing, is getting the I see I'm way over my time here. It's almost 12:30, but I'll just close with saying, don't throw everything out. I mean, if you want to, but use up what you have, and in the meantime, find a replacement for what you have in your house, so that you're reducing your toxic load, you're getting healthier food, and in turn, you're going to get healthier. And don't forget your skin and body products, all your deodorants and your perfumes. Source out natural ingredients there too, because what you put on your skin goes in your body. And a lot of people are not aware of that. So it's really important to start to transition out of all of those toxic chemicals. So I hope that you enjoyed today's session. It was a bit quick and I didn't cover everything that I want to cover, but a half hour has gone by. So I will close off. If you have any questions, this video will be live on my Facebook page, so you can jot your questions down there in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them. So once again, my name's Janice. I am the founder of Janice Inspiring Change Holistic Nutrition, and I'm on a mission to eradicate sugar addiction. I have a 12-week program called Sugar Freedom Now that is helping women lose weight, look amazing, and live well by breaking up with sugar. And as you can see, I talk about all kinds of things, and I'll be back next week on Thursday at noon with another guest. And I hope you have a great day. Bye for now.